Mr Chair.
I call Mark Mitchell.
Mr Chair, I'm very pleased to take a second call on part one of the Parental Leave and Employment Protection 6 months paid leave and work contact hours amendment bill in relation to 22 weeks of paid parental leave. I did want to, in my last call, I do want to come back to the costs, and I do want to talk about that because it's significant. It's primarily it's a big part of why, well, it's the primary reason why we're opposing this bill. Not that we don't support paid parental leave, and I'll support the comments of the Minister that took the call before me on that, and he outlined that very clearly. I want to talk about some of the submissions that we heard and some of the concerns that I had as a committee member. And I know that the last time I took a call, I sat down and one of the Green Party members got up and said I forget the term now, something like mansplaining. Man something. Basically, it was an attack on me. It was an attack on me because I was a man. And I dared to take a call on this bill. And I would say there was no apology that came. I was highly offended by the comments, but I'm actually used to that, and I understand why. I understand why the Labor Whip would take a point of order, something that a National Party member would never do against another National Party member.
Pointer, Henry Galloway.
You've ruled on that matter, and matters of procedure are not part of part one of this bill.
Sure. No, look, I do ask members to come back. If you're serious about the relevancy of part one, I'd ask you to come back because it's, it's a very narrow debate. It's about 22 weeks. You can refer what happened in the Select Committee and how you came to report back to the Committee of the Whole. But I do ask that you concentrate on part one and specifically why this is important, that it's now 22 weeks or otherwise. I'm calling
Thank you, Mr
Mark
Chair.
Mitchell.
So let me come back to the 22 weeks, and also let me come back to the point that that I was going to make. And Madam Chair, I'm sure that the Chair of the committee will get up and take a call and support me on this, because she supported me in the committee when I raised this. And my concern is that I think that we all accept that breastfeeding and breast milk, if a new mother is able to do that, is definitely the best thing for a child, without a doubt. I don't think we challenge the science around that or the submissions that were made on the committee. The one concern that I had with some of the language that was being used and some of the discussions on the committee is that the risk is that a new mother that, for whatever reason, whether it be medical or physical, for whatever reason, was unable to actually breastfeed a baby, somehow her role as a mother was diminished. If a mother, for whatever reason...
Point of order, Henry Galloway.
Point of order, that this discussion about the merits of breastfeeding, whilst interesting, is well wide of part one of this legislation.
Yeah, well, order. If it was part of the submissions that were heard and it relates to why 22 weeks then became important, then that's fair enough. But I do ask the member, this is my second time of asking the member to concentrate on part one, otherwise I'll terminate his speech. Mark Mitchell.
I think my point, the point that I'm trying to make as it relates to the 22 weeks of paid parental leave, Mr Chair, is the fact that we just have to be very careful that as part of the debate that we don't send a message to new parents that if they're not taking 22 weeks, if they're not even taking 18 weeks paid parental leave, actually it doesn't mean that they're not able to form a strong bond with their child. It doesn't mean that somehow their role as a parent is diminished. And I know that in my own circumstances with my own mother is that she was not in that position, and yet I feel that myself and my siblings have got a very strong, healthy bond with my mother, and she has been an outstanding mother. I want to come back to... I do want to come back to the cost, and I know that there's been significant focus around this, but I do want to discuss it because the fact of the matter is that if we take $500 million over the next 4 years, and I think the Minister highlighted the fact that although this government has been very successful in its economic management, with a finance minister that has delivered us back into a situation where we have surpluses, albeit them thin surpluses. When we came into government, we were projected to have 10 years at least of deficits. That's an achievement in itself, and it puts us in a better position, and ultimately it may put the government in a position where it has got additional funds to be able to decide where in the economy that's going to be best used for everyone, for all of us as Kiwis. But at the moment, we're facing an additional bill of $500 million over 4 years. And I just want to take it back. I guess I'll take it back to my own electorate, where I look at a fortnight ago, we were very lucky to open a complete new rebuild on the junior side of the Warkworth School. Something that...
No.
Okay. So let's...
We're talking about education. We're talking about...
Okay.
This.
Okay. I understand, Mr Chair. I guess I'm trying to use real examples in terms of the fiscal impact of $500 million additional spending over the next 4 years, which is significant. So let me be more general in my comments. When the government makes its decisions around appropriations, then of course we have to be very focused.
Carmel Sepuloni.